painting to photography, from beadwork to woodworking, KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University presents Artbeat. Artbeat highlights the work and accomplishments of local artists from in and around Winona. Support for Artbeat is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Today on Artbeat, we get an inside look at the 2025 International Digital Media Arts Association Conference and Exhibition, which took place in October of 2025 on the campus of Winona State University. iDMAa explores and celebrates the creation of many types of media made by people from all over the world. This year's exhibition focuses on folk media in the digital age. Today, we hear from UnderAcademy College Probationary Provost Marino. UnderAcademy College describes itself as an unaccredited undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate anti-degree institution. The institution states that its primary mission is to remain open, marginal, and unaccredited. According to founder and president Talon Mehmet, UnderAcademy is not anti-academic, it is under, like under the influence of the academy. And we are not a university. We are called a college because of its phonological proximity to collage. Collage. I'm Bill Stoneberg, inviting you to join us as KQAL's Kristine Osorio takes us behind the curtain with the probationary provost of UnderAcademy College, Marino. Today on Artbeat.
I'm very excited to announce, I have to say this because in my other position at UnderAcademy College, Mark Marino is the provost.
Provisional provost.
Yeah, provisional. Well, you should be the full provost.
I should be.
No,
it's always provisional.
Well, but I just want to make this guy happy because my future fate.
Don't make it up.
To make a long story short, Mark Marino is the provisional provost of UnderAcademy College, also a scholar and artist of electronic literature. He's written several books. He's writing a musical right now. He also runs the critical code studies working group and has published several books digging into code and the history of code and how it intersects with culture and many of the experiences that we have on a day-to-day basis. So we're very lucky to have this person here, a man who wears, just one hat.
I've got other hats.
But I do have other hats. I've only
them.
seen...
They're harder to travel with. There's the official provost hat is very...
Okay. It's like a kind of...
Yeah, it's big.
Hat sort of
it's like
situation.
Okay. Stovetop.
Well,
yeah.
Well, without further ado, Mark Marino, our provisional provost.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you for coming. Now, unofficially, this is a faculty meeting of the UnderAcademy. Can you raise your hand if you're a faculty member of the? And then the rest of you are now officially faculty members, and you'll get paid about as much as the rest of us do. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, so, but there's a little background first. I got to get to the usual spiel. So, this was delivered. Sorry, I need one more. Hold on. Last week, my home university received this Compact for Academic Excellence in Higher Education. It had some nice features in it, like certain schools with a certain size endowment had to offer STEM majors tuition free. It had some not so nice features about what could and could not be taught. It had rules for admission, rules for what counts as gender. It had rules about free speech. And so we're living in this moment of institutional extortion as the noblest institutions are being shaken down. To put it in the words of a recent musical, something bad is happening in Oz. And the euphemisms of this age could make you choke. At my university, we call it a resilience period, which means that there is the tightening of belts, the firing of over 100 employees in our college alone. That's happening as we speak. And of course, reduction in budgets. So I believe that education should be free, but what might that look like? So for students, it would be nice if it was free from this cycle of busy work, high stakes testing, certification creep, exorbitant tuition. I know some certification creeps. And then for faculty, it would be similarly if we could get out of the accountability model, the customer evaluations, the pay freezes, the increased teaching load, the usual complaints. So what would a digital folk university look like? Well, we could turn to Paulo Freire for some notions in pedagogy of the oppressed. In that book, most of you guys have probably read it. We have this notion of he's moving away from the banking model of education, where you deposit knowledge into the minds of those being taught. He spoke of advocating for creative beings, talked of revolutionary futurity, serving students in the process of becoming more fully human, as opposed to the banking model, where students are docile, where they follow directions, where they're rewarded for being compliant. So Freire recommends something much more radical, and I think at the UnderAcademy we try to reproduce that. So this summer I participated in the last couple of summers, a wonderful, this is some of the things that I say you might think are not true. So I almost feel like I need to underscore the things that are certainly true. But there is something called MyFest. It's mid-year festival. It's available to anyone there's a flat fee. It's like a couple $100, maybe $300. You have access to all of these world-class courses that are offered usually as one-offs, or maybe sometimes they have 2 sessions. There's also book clubs. So I was part of this book club run by Teresa Destrebic. And over there, Maha Bali and Mia Zamora, those are the people who run MyFest. Again, it stands for Mid-Year Festival. And I was part of this book club about joy-centered pedagogy in higher education, which had me thinking a lot about to what degree joy was missing from my education. But then I found out as we got into the book that it's really about centering your course around Joy Williamson, who's an educator who has a lot of online course content. But her trademarked and patented curriculum recommends that all coursework be fully centered on her, on Joy Williamson. Also, recently, thanks to Anna, I've been introduced to the Flying Universities of Poland, or also known as the Floating Universities of Poland. I'm thinking about, these are ways of thinking about how UnderAcademy gets situated as an institution or an uninstitution, right? So just similar how MyFest doesn't really have a university that's behind it or an institution behind it. The Flying Universities were hidden or alternative educational spaces that showed up in the 1880s, 1890s, also show up again in the 1980s, 1990s. And they have a very famous graduate whose name I'm about to butcher, whose name is Maria Sklodowska. I don't know, how did I do? Okay, perfect. Anna? Yeah. She's better known to you all as Marie Curie, perhaps. She was not able to study chemistry in the universities in Poland at the time, and so she was educated in these flying universities.
My university became famous for actually rejecting her application.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Forever famous.
Notable alums excluded, yes. Also, early on in the process, see, I should mention, so I'm a latecomer. UnderAcademy College was founded in 2011 by Talon Mehmet, who's right here. He's our president. When I first joined UnderAcademy, I thought, for some reason, I don't know if it's because its seal has an upside-down pig on it, and also upside-down other animals, I thought perhaps it was a parody of an institution. And so when I brought that to the attention of certain media outlets, Talon interrupted and said, no, it's not a parody. It's something built on the backs of something like, or on the model of something like Black Mountain College, which was in Appalachia, 1933 to 1957. It was founded by John Andrew Rice and Theodore Dreyer when they were dismissed from Rollins College for failing to sign a loyalty pledge. So raise your hand if you've heard of Black Mountain College, just so I know. Okay, so a couple people. Now Talon is denying that he's ever heard of it. Anyway, it was established to avoid the pitfalls of autocratic chancellors and trustees and to allow for a more flexible curriculum with the holistic aim to educate students as a person and as a citizen. And then the people associated with Black Mountain College, you may have heard of John Cage, you may have heard of Buckminster Fuller, who built the first geodesic dome, thanks to Black Mountain College. And another sort of key element I think that resonates with a lot of what we've been seeing, the college put art making at the center of their curriculum, and also a little mandatory farm work. I also think that we're inspired largely by Marxism,
Yes.
Particularly Groucho Marx, who in Horse Feather says, and I say to you, gentlemen, as president of the college, this college is a failure. The trouble is we're neglecting football for education. And of course, coming from USC, I feel like that would be a very tragic failure. There's a video clip, but I'm not even going to try to play it because of the screen sharing, but it's a very, very important little lecture he gives in Horse Feathers. So here's UnderAcademy founder, Talon Mehmet. UnderAcademy College cannot be perverted because it arrived on the scene already perverted. I mentioned it was founded in 2011, and so it's unaccredited, non-credit bearing institution, and rather than vacuuming up tuition dollars, it offers its wares freely to any sailor on the port. So a couple of things we don't have currently, although Talon says this might change at some point. We don't have tuition, we don't have certificates, no requirements, no fees, no complaints, no grades, no shame, no competition, no unfair advantages, no student debt.
But you didn't include extortion. So
What was that?
you didn't include extortion.
I did. There might be extortion might happen still. We're keeping that as an open possibility. Every student, I begin every one of my classes by explaining at the UnderAcademy, every student is a teacher, and every teacher is a digressor, and digressors are free to digress on whatever topic they feel like digressing, and students are free to ignore them, which my students have long taken that approach. You can. With any class, you can do the homework. You could not do the homework. You could assign some homework. You could give a lecture, or you could do something else entirely. And what you don't know is that with my other hat, or actually the same hat, at my home institution, I teach required writing courses, and I have for about 30 years. Required meaning students are required to take them, but also they have attendance requirements, which has, again, deeply perverted my own teaching. When students have to be there, there's a very different learning environment than when people could be wherever they want to be. So at UnderAcademy, we offered these free units to burden students without any assurance of nutritional content. It's education for grown-ups because the question is, why are you here if you're not getting anything from it? Why should I have to take attendance in a class that I'm teaching? So the crimson rule of UnderAcademy is do no ham. Like the flying schools, we tend to hop around to different digital platforms. So we use blogs, web pages, email lists, and some news spaces. And again, this is maybe where we tie through some of the digital aspects of iDMAa. Here was the first course that I taught, grammar porn, for those who like grammatical rules a little too much. Which I do, as it turns out. This was my first exposure to the pure creative madness of UnderAcademy. There was a video lecture that was created by Michael J. McGuire that just blew me away. And for once, these students did much more than I ever could have dreamed or even assigned. And then the provost at my home institution that pays my salary at USC found out about this course and liked the idea of the course so much that she assigned me to be on a committee as a reward. In 2016, Talon and I taught how to write and read fake news, journalism in the age of Trump, a much celebrated class. That was an online class. That was one of our larger classes that we taught. And one thing I just want to mention about that class, just as an example of how these classes take off. So we had an assignment called Growing the Weeds. Because again, the class was legitimately about how to write fake news. As a way of understanding it, I guess you might say, I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe you want to learn it for profit, I don't know. And we had an assignment where you would start a fake news story and then you would build on it. That was Growing the Weeds. So Rob Wittig, who's back there, he was one of the students, and he came up with this idea of a nameless problem where people were forgetting the name of the president at the time. And there was just this problem, like all the records of the person's name just disappeared. And so then we built on that, and we had a whole nameless epidemic that happened. Again, this was 2016, back when it seemed like the next 4 years could be, kind of funny. But they were. It was a real Dewey defeats Truman moment for the UnderAcademy, sadly. But anyway, we enjoyed what we did at the time. Dad Jokes was another popular, mostly harmless course. Talon was another co-teacher of that one. In the summer of 2020, in the height of the pandemic lockdown, I co-taught the Unzoomable class, in which students learned how to do things you couldn't do through Zoom, like pass pencils to one another, or to give hugs to people through video conferencing platforms. Sorry, I apparently have to play that little GIF for some reason. This past summer brought another resurgence of courses with our August of Discuss, which included the Palooza that John McDade set up, music festival poster. We got some images from Talon on this one. And the sheer number of courses we offered kind of blew my mind. So everything from the price of education to Only Bots, the waitlist course, architecture, Commedia del Netprov, Foundations of Lame Design, artificial emotigents, the breath library. Wait, raise your hand if you participated in one of those courses or you taught one of those courses. So we see there are a lot. Yeah, exactly. Great. Oh, and then of course, yeah. Don't let me forget On the Road: Spatial Stories in the Style of Burma Shave. So again, I'm doing it again. Can I have the digressors stand up of who are here in attendance, people who have taught for UnderAcademy, just so that I can, for our files. There you go. All right, we should get a round of applause for these people for being this sort of digressors. All right, thank you. You guys can sit down. Yeah, I think for sure. So this course was, just give you a sense of some of the platforms. So this course was a course that was taught in an online invitation, and you could invite, any participant in this course could invite anyone that they wanted to invite. Everyone was welcome except for one person. So it was like, I don't know if you included it, like, I don't know if the word is like inclusion, maybe it had a diversity of people who were invited to that course, but there was one person you could not invite. Also, this course was taught in Venmo. So this is called The Price of Education, and the form of the course was a story that we told by passing pennies around to each other. So you could see Sergio's contributions to that, or you could see Pete's, and again, it ended up being the story of a student who's a little bit named Cash T, who's a little bit cash-strapped thanks to The Price of Education. Anyway, that one, I enjoyed that. Here's some shots from the Burma Shave course on the road. This is taught in Equimake, which if we have time later, I can show you a little bit of the contents of it. But we were encouraged to create, raise your hand if you know what a Burma Shave sign is. So for those perhaps slightly younger members of the audience, these were little signs that were on the side of the road that would be placed in sequence. And, if you're driving a certain rate, you would read them as a phrase. And they would have like a clever little pun. Sometimes they would make you feel bad for driving too fast, that kind of a thing. But, it was, you could still see them on, there must be some highways where you can still find some Burma shaves.
But it's a Minnesota thing.
Give us a little background on that, Patrick.
So basically, Burma
Digress.
Shave is, the shaving cream company out of Minneapolis and that sort of thing, out of the Twin Cities. And so what happens is that, they were having these issues, and they decided to try to make these jingles that would go up on the side of the, that were, as you said, either guilt-inducing or whatnot. And, they became quite popular, really Americana in the, from 30s, 40s, 50s, and that sort of thing. So I said, it's virtual reality and that sort of thing. Why don't we, drive down the virtual road and that sort of thing, and do things like, like Dada, Fluxus, or even, in the style of like in Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos. It's like,
because that's what people do with right. What else would someone think to do with the Burma? So let me see if I can show you real quick. If I switch my change,
and Hello Kitty EV chargers.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so here is now I'm in the space. And will it let me do anything? Yeah, so I'm kind of in the space there. I can travel down the road and see some of these. So, cultists chant in moonlit glade. Best run now. Your soul's prepaid. Burma shave. There you go. If you let AI drive. Wait, I'm so bad at navigating this. If you let AI drive around the bend, I believe it is. Around the bend. Let me see if I can get this.
Terrible driver.
I am. You promptly, if you let AI drive around the bend, you'll promptly arrive at the end. Let's see if we get another one of these. Colonizers from afar who don't recognize Myanmar. Burma shave. It's a Burma Myanmar. If anybody missed it, it's a Burma Myanmar joke there. Yeah, glad you guys got it. I could tell. Lost phone while driving. Where is it stashed? Bend down to grab it. Now you've. And then it just says Burma shave. Oh my gosh! And here are our cell phones. All right, I'm leaving this space because there's at least one more.
That was fun.
Yeah, they're cute. Aren't they cute? Yeah, thank you. Okay, great. We're going back to this presentation. So Commedia dell'Netprov, another one of our great things run by Rob Wittig, a wonderful Netprov, bringing back the Commedia dell'Arte, or reimagining Commedia dell'Arte for the modern age. Foundations in Lame Design. This was another one that actually produced things that we could and should see. Maybe I will... Talon, does this game ever load? Does this... You're not going to tell us.
It might.
Unpacking us. I've sat with this one for a long time. It's never loaded for me, but strangely. Anyway, so Lame Design, the premise was we were building classes that were infuriating, or games that were infuriating, games that could never games that were not fun, unplayable games. Unplayable games.
Or made the player into an NPC.
Yeah. They were, yeah. All right, thank you for coming.
Thanks again to UnderAcademy College Probationary Provost Mark Marino for joining us today on ArtBeat. Tune in next week at 12:30 for part 2 of UnderAcademy College for an exclusive interview with Probationary Provost Mark Marino. To learn more about UnderAcademy College, check out their Facebook, WordPress blog, or go to underacademy.org. To learn more about the iDMAa conference and exhibition, you can visit their website at iDMAa.org. For more conversations on art, tune into ArtBeat Tuesdays at 12:30 right here on 89.5 KQAL. For links to podcasts of ArtBeat and other KQAL original programming, go to kqal.org. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from KQAL's Kristine Osorio and UnderAcademy College Probationary Provost Mark Marino today on ArtBeat.
ArtBeat is written and produced by KQAL-FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us on the web at kqal.org.